Hey there, it's John here, and welcome to another quick juicing video. And this one is just going to be super quick. I just had the idea. I'm making myself a juice for lunch, and because it's so cold at the moment, it was -6 here last night, that I'm having to have something warm when I get up, and then it goes cold in the evening, of course, or colder in the evening. So I need something kind of warm at night. So I've got beautiful soup that I've made. So I thought, well, because I've had kind of like a solid breakfast, some porridge, banana and honey, I'll make a juice for lunch. I'm not actually cold myself because I travel to India every year. There's a shop that I know in Rishikesh that sells yak wool trousers, although I'm not wearing the yak wool trousers today. I've got my regular sort of clothing on, but I'm actually wearing what Tibetan people have for underwear, for long johns. I've got Tibetan long johns underneath my trousers, and the same, I've got a Tibetan thermal thing underneath here, so I'm actually quite toasty warm. Only this little thing up here, the head gets a bit cold, so for the sake of making a video, I've taken my hat off. So let me show you what we've got for juice, and then I'll make the juice and show you that. I hope you're really, really well, and you're thriving, and it's just lovely to have a quick check-in with you. So look at these guys. We have two astonishingly beautiful apples. I don't know if you can see the kind of life energy there in those. That's how I choose my fruits and vegetables. I don't just buy what's there, but I kind of look from the life inside myself and see the life in the vegetable or the fruit, and allow myself to choose that way. All sounds a bit hippy dippy, but it seems to work for me. Life to life. So we've got apple, we've got a really nice piece of ginger, piece of fresh turmeric, and I will put ginger and turmeric in almost anything that I can. Not in almost anything, in anything that I can. And then we've got this beautiful, really fresh head of celery. So this is going to be my lunch. So I've chopped up the apple, chopped up the celery, because we're not using the slow juicer today, the Omega, and if you don't chop up the celery with this machine, then the celery strings really kind of block up the pulp tube in here, so it's a bit of a, the design kind of, it may be improved now. I've had this about 5 years, this juicer, but this particular one, if you don't kind of do a bit of chopping up first, then it gets a bit stuck. So hopefully you can hear me with the juicer running. So here goes the ginger and the haldi, and then you just start chucking your stuff in. And what I like about this juicer is it sounds like it's eating it. Kind of one of those funny little things. It gives me great pleasure, it makes me smile to myself. And I found a way of moving this juicer over onto this counter, because last time I couldn't film sort of the juicing, and I know you still can't see it all, just the kitchen is very tiny, so there aren't the angles, and also the stairs need painting and things. So maybe when we've done the decorating next year, it's too cold now to do that, then I can find some slightly better angles. It is a job that's been hanging over me all year that I've not got round to doing. You know those jobs. So this juice, the celery is sort of hugely hydrating. There's so many minerals and good salts in celery that they're just drinking it down. It's such a health-giving juice. The apple, of course, is like cellular energy, cleaning, really good for the liver, really good for your guts, really good for your stomach, malic acid, and incredible. I found, there's one more ingredient, I found a very sad lemon in the fridge that had been there a little bit too long, so RIP dear lemon, but it's still usable. I've just taken the skin off and that's going in. And oops, just give that a little shove. So with this juicer, things take a bit more time. It turns at 80 RPM, the auger, the thing that does the kind of the chewing of the juice. And the reason that I prefer this kind of juicer, one is that it slows me down, because not everything has to be in a hurry. And two, that any juicer that you have at home is worth using. You know, there's nothing wrong with any juicer at all. The only bad juicer is a juicer that doesn't get used. So if you have one of these kind of fast centrifugal juicers, then that's still brilliant, but they tend to, you lose probably about 30% of your juice with that. You'll notice that the pulp is quite wet, and it does actually add a bit of heat to things. So this is why this is kind of called cold pressed juice, because it doesn't cause friction and kind of just kind of shred up the vegetable and the fruits, and so you actually kind of benefit from the raw goodness of the food because it's not been heated. There you go, you can hear the celery being chewed away. And this is just the energy that I need. Last couple of days, with the cold weather and things, I've just been feeling a bit kind of energyless, and actually I haven't been juicing. I get a bit lost when it's cold weather sometimes, and I get a bit stuck like eating sort of, you know, bulky hot foods. One interesting thing is that when I made the last video, somebody I met who watched it sort of commented that, you know, that must be, I was showing you the citrus press juicer, and somebody said, oh, isn't that very expensive? You know, I can't afford to juice, and I can't afford kind of gear like that. And I realised that actually, you know, it is a choice. It is a choice, and I'm not sounding middle class and gentrified here, because I'm not, and people have no idea about other people's incomes and things like that. But you know, I try not to make any assumptions. All the juices that I make cost about the price of a coffee. So 2 apples, how much? You know, maybe what, 80p. That head of celery was £1. The lemon, poor lemon, I've no idea, 35p. You know, and ginger, haldi. I'm just giving this a minute. Something I like to do actually when I've put something through is I like to put a tiny bit of water through the juicer, and that just helps kind of carry down sort of any last sort of good bits, and kind of carries the pulp out as well. And yeah, so this juicer was expensive, and you can see I've got a high-speed blender behind me as well, a very good quality one. So I've decided to make health my priority. I don't have a TV license. I'm not saying I'm cool and everybody else is something else here. I'm not. It's just decisions that I made given my circumstances. I don't want it all. I don't watch TV. I have no TV license, no Netflix subscription, I have no Sky, and you know, the reason I don't have those things is not just about saving money, but also because by contributing to those things, we're also contributing to sources of misinformation and things in the world, as well as a kind of an active egoic principle. So with the money saved, I look after myself, you know. So it's just a matter of how you want to kind of direct your life. I don't do it in a reactionary way or anything. Here's the juice. So there we go. Look at that. The yellow, of course, is the turmeric. All my all my blender stuff, all my juicing stuff has all got this kind of yellow tinge to it because of the turmeric. But it's just such a good thing. Let me just because it's kind of gone in layers. I'm just going to pour a bit out, and kind of pour it back through again, and we'll just see how that is. Wow, look at that. So this is lunch. Yeah, this whole thing is lunch. About just under a litre, so you're very good health. Wow, it's quite a salty sort of flavour because of the celery. The apples aren't too sweet actually, so it's not like a sugar or apple fruit sugar overload. It's a smoothing out and that kind of appley tinge, you know, that kind of slight cideriness. Lemon, just kind of a cutting principle, and a kind of very good for you know, kind of cleaning out and tonifying. Ginger expanding at the same time, tonifying, and the turmeric kind of this kind of relaxing kind of undercurrent. Oh yes, it's a apple celery juice 2017. Yeah, it's a fine palate indeed. And oh, what a bouquet. Actually, what a bouquet. Yeah, so celery appley-ish, delicious. What was I saying? Yeah, it's not about, you know, being anything at all. I don't do lifestyle, you know, I don't do lifestyle at all. I can't stand lifestyle products. I don't try to fit into a lifestyle. It's just about life. Life is not lifestyle, because those are things added to oneself in order to kind of create an identity, and I'm not doing that. That's not what my work as Authentic Living is about. The way that I work with my clients and my classes and things, with business and with schools as well, it's all about who you are at source and allowing that to kind of be expressed through your life. And then as you do that, you realize that actually there are things that need healing in your life, that health is an important, not just principle, but actually one of the greatest gifts that we have. And so, you know, you don't just jump straight to kind of a full-on sort of regime. You allow yourself to kind of slowly upgrade to these things, you know, so you just make better choices, which creates a bit more space in you. The inflammation in the body goes down because you're being healthful and you're not drinking sodas and things like that. That creates more space, less aggression in you. Then you kind of, the next step comes quite naturally, and then the next step comes quite naturally. We don't go straight to, you know, 100%. We just start where we are and upgrade very slightly, you know. That's that's been my way anyway, and I just keep not looking for what's the next thing that I need to make me more, but just kind of what's the natural progression in a proactive sort of way. So I don't even think about this in terms of money. You know, you make the outlay one time for something like this. This is guaranteed for 10 years. So that's a hell of a thing. And it makes the best juice. It's a bit tricky, fussy to clean. It's you know, it's a funny thing. But it takes as long as making a sandwich. How long did that take? I don't know. 5 minutes to make that juice, 6 minutes. It would take me that long to make a sandwich. And we have to remember then that this is food. This is not a drink and then we're going to make our lunch. This is the food, you know, itself, the food of life. And it's good to kind of be back on the juicing. I'm going to try for the rest of the week to kind of have a juice or a smoothie each day. So hopefully maybe I can make a little video each day I do that. Let's see how it goes, and maybe you can join me. Lots of love to you. Have a brilliant day wherever you are, and yeah, wrap up well if you're cold, and go for a swim or do something lovely if it's somewhere hot where you are. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, you know, because it makes a huge difference. Our channel is growing slowly. I think we're at 525 people now. That's been about an increase of about 100 in the last 6 months or so, which is amazing given the content here. And I'm being the kind of odd creature that I am. But you can only be who you are. And if you do have any suggestions, you know, if you are a subscriber, I would love to hear from you what it is that you subscribe for. You know, what content do I produce that you like? By knowing that, I can then make kind of more content that you might like. You know, and if you're just somebody who's kind of checked this out, but you have liked this video, then then please tell us what you'd like to see more of. Both, in fact. You know, what do you like here, and what would you like to see more of? Would you like to see more meditation stuff? Would you like to see more juicing videos and food videos? Would you like more about books? Because we have the book series at the minute, and season 1 of that will kind of come to its end this week. The next one will start at the end of January, season 2 of that. And then maybe when that project's over, I might keep the book group going. I was thinking about doing a series of programs around spiritual books, for example, spiritual books that I've genuinely found helpful in my life. Anyway, you see, I said a quick video, and here I am off down the lane and up the hill and in the trees.